So following a somewhat, I would say, successful, but in other ways less than that. But I trust God that eventually it will be all for the best. So with that kind of night, following this night, I just went and started to buy a drink just because I'm thirsty. So one thing that should be said now, that because it wasn't clear from the blog, because I mean, it's a scientific issue. So I mean, I don't like jump to conclusions, certainly with regards to things that are of empirical nature. But I mean, now enough evidence was gathered, and also this has become very, very relevant, because I mean, there is now kind of like, all over the world, certainly in Israel, like a new professor of the Homo sapiens health, specifically with expertise on the mouth cavity and the tongue. And this professor, I mean, I forgot the name, but I mean, the kind of like the bicycle. We have many paintings and sculptures and also photographs of like microscopic way, but it's not necessarily microscopic. Certainly not. It can go quite large, and it's extremely intelligent. But I mean, what I wanted to say, which is important, because again, it was not obvious to me, so it was not obvious from this blog, that this is not a train. Like the one that I call the train, and you call, or the sauce. I mean, you call the train. I call it sausage, like initially. But I mean, you call that. I mean, the train is, and you really like. I mean, it was actually engineered life form that was made by the Israelis in order to control their enemies. Very nice of them. So I mean, the bicycle worm is indeed a worm, but it's completely different. I don't know if it's even worthwhile to mention the differences, because these are completely different life forms. I don't know why. I mean, some people thought that maybe it's the same, or it's not at all. It doesn't look the same. It doesn't act the same. It's more than everything. It's not made out of the same material. The bicycle life form is metal. It's made out of metal. Like, I mean, if anybody is really new to this channel and kind of amused by the notion of life form that is made of metal, so there were many that were documented in this channel. For my avid viewers, this is kind of like no news. So yes, there are. You've seen many, but spider, like a wasp. Of course, before there's worms, and before that, microbes and viruses. So this is one of these viruses that are made. It's not virus. It's a worm. They start microscopic, but they go to rather large size. Definitely visible by the naked eye, and it's made of metal. Yes. What can you do to get rid of it? No, nothing. It's with you until you die. Don't bother with all the fasting and in order to get to probably, maybe, I don't know, somehow maybe get rid of the sausage worm that the Israelis in fact are victim with. There is like a complete mythology of how to do it. Like, don't eat meat and don't eat almost anything at all, and smoke this all sort of like herbs, or I don't know. Each person, they have their own kind of prescription. But for the metal worm, like the bicycle worm, like the expert, like in health, Homo sapien health, and specifically the health of the tongue. Don't bother. Fasting or whatever. It's there. Like it's metal. Not like literally, it's made of metal. It's not an exaggeration or metaphor. It's made out of metal. Nothing. You can't do anything. Just get used to it, and I assure you that all of you will feel like the beneficial results very, very quickly. By just inspecting yourself, you will perhaps feel kind of like grudge against it. But certainly everybody will. When they will watch the earth, that will suddenly become so quiet. Maybe then it will be easier for them to actually appreciate the new gospel of this professor of the health of the mouth and the tongue of Homo sapiens.